From the top of Wufen in Taiwan, welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show.
Sorry, we gotta go again. Dan, you can't get out of it, mate.
I'm not
100 people commented last week that you need to be wearing that pink vest. This week, just how much of a cyclist are you? Find out by answering 6 simple questions.
Plus, cycling sub 2-hour marathon, the secret to Egan Bernal's success, possibly, and all of your regular favourites too.
Yeah, but this week with added guns. You probably better cover up, mate. Otherwise, no one's gonna watch.
This week in the world of cycling, we learnt that Bauke Mollema has an adorable family. On Saturday, he became the first Dutchman since Henny Kuiper in 1981 to win Il Lombardia. And here are his kids watching him win.
Ah, that is cool, isn't it?
Yes.
And his mum was there watching as well in one of the final corners. We also learned this week just how many kilometres a pro cyclist covers in their racing career, because as Lars Bak hung up his wheels after 17 years as a pro, Velofacts calculated that he has raced, so this doesn't include training, 220,000 kilometres, which is about 5.5 times around the world, and climbed 850,000 metres.
Which is like doing almost 100 Everestings, isn't it? And as you pointed out, Si, it doesn't even include his training. Imagine if you factored that in too.
Yeah, it is fair to say that Lars is a serious cyclist. But, without wishing to take too much away from the lad, he's had a lot of time on his hands as a pro, and also a lot of those kilometres were spent sheltering inside a peloton. So I think it would be unfair if Lars was like our benchmark for what is needed to be a serious cyclist. So instead, we've created this handy questionnaire.
We have 6 pretty simple questions, a possible 1 point for each of your answers, and you'll be able to find out where you are on the scale of being a serious cyclist, from the armchair fan up to Lars Bak Level.
That's right, LBL. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Question number 1. Do you watch GCN?
Yay! We're all off the board. Excellent, no losers here.
Well, wouldn't quite say that. Anyway, question number 2. Do you ride a bike?
Yes!
No,
What?
I'm already out.
No, come on.
Wow. I ride out on special occasions.
Yeah, that's what we call the sun coming out here in the UK.
That is a special occasion, my goodness.
Well, it hasn't happened for 3 weeks,
No.
has it? Right, anyway, easy questions for most of us to get off the board, but now things are gonna get a little bit tougher. Question number 3. Is your bike worth more than your car? Or for the dentists out there, are your bikes worth more than your car?
Or cars, I would say, probably for
accurately, yeah.
dentists.
No, we joke.
This is the classic question, really, isn't it? We're not in a position really to answer it at the moment because we're very privileged in that we get loaned some of the best bikes in the world to ride.
Yeah, and no one does that with cars.
No, we've never been loaned a car, have we?
No.
We need to
No
work on that.
surprises there, really.
But anyway, if I think back, I remember purchasing a Rally Reynolds 853 road bike with a Dura Ace group set, and despite the fact that I got it at trade price through Rally, it was still a lot more expensive than my car at the time.
Which was?
Well, sorry, it was a Vauxhall Astra Mark II hatchback, 5 doors, a 1.3 diesel engine with a manual sunroof and a 5-speed manual gearbox.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah.
You're not having the point though.
Why not?
Well, because you just spent twice as long discussing the detail of your Astra than you did your bike.
Ah, well, I was proud of that Astra.
Yeah, well, as you should. Last bike I bought was a mountain bike. I got a great deal on it. Still worth more than my car, to this day.
And it's not even the whole bike or the whole car necessarily, is it? I remember back in the times of having that rally road bike that I would quite happily spend 40, maybe even £50 on a really good single tyre for it. But once, when I had to replace the tyres on the Astra, I was quoted £35 per wheel, which I thought was extortionate.
Yeah.
Even astronomical.
See what we did there. Value, though, does sort of skew slightly when we're talking about cycling, because personally, I'd rather spend 40 or 50 pounds on something knowing it's the best that money can buy than spending 40 pounds on a crap tyre for a crap car.
True. ride a superbike for less than the cost of a mediocre car.
Exactly.
Moving on then, question number 4. Do you always work in kilometres even though everything is in miles where you live?
Well, yeah, what's not to love? You get to ride further and ride faster.
Yeah, centuries are easier, aren't they?
Exactly. Plus, as we all know, serious cyclists work in kilometres because that's what pros do. And all pro races, of course.
Well, except maybe the Tours of California and Utah, they're in miles.
Okay. Special cases, marginally confusing.
Well, perhaps not as confusing as if you went to ride your evening local 16.1, Si.
Well, that is true, but then the British time trial scene is confusing at best. To virtually everyone anyway, isn't it?
My word. You're in for quite a few comments, I think, under the show this week.
Yeah, some testing times coming up.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's move on to question number 5 then. Have you ever booked a family holiday based purely on the ideal cycling location?
Yes, although not recently, actually. So I'm on shaky ground, I think, is whether I get a point, maybe a half.
You're going to get a half point for that?
I think so.
I don't think I ever have done. Although Lorraine did sometimes used to book holidays based on where my race was finishing. Does that count?
I think that's worse, mate. I think you were so serious you didn't take holidays, you were just racing instead.
So that's definitely a point then, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, should we move on to question 6,
Yep.
which is, of course, the final one.
This is it, this is crunch time.
What's that?
A water bottle.
Or is it? Because I think Lars Bak would call that a bidon. In fact, I think most serious cyclists would call that a bidon.
And every French person, because it is just French. I mean, do you seriously call that a bidon?
I do, yeah. But only if it's cycling related, obviously. I don't call my bottles of Duvel bidons, but that I would. Right, that's your final question. The scores are in. Si, what did you get?
Well, obviously I failed at the last one. So 4.5, I think, which is slightly healthier than it would have been, although my wife might take exception to that particular statement. But I've never called that a bidon.
Okay.
So yeah, 4.5.
Well, I came out at 4, which means I'm a reasonably serious cyclist who doesn't ride his bike very much.
We need to tweak this questionnaire.
Clearly,
it's
we might need
useless.
to tweak this questionnaire. As ever, of course, we would love to hear what your scores are going to be on this questionnaire. Are you simply an armchair fan of cycling, or are you full Lars Bak Level?
You say that, but we don't actually know whether Lars Bak gets 6 out of 6, do we?
Why?
Well, because we don't know whether he watches GCN. He might have failed at the first hurdle.
He probably doesn't, does he?
Well, I mean, I don't know. He's been on his bike a lot, so he might have missed
That's
it.
the only reason, obviously.
Yeah, might have missed the last 7 years. Right, we got to say as well, we got to go back to last week's talking point about worst things to say to a cyclist. Some amazing comments left under the show. This was probably my favourite from Eve Detria. Worst thing said to me on a ride was, "You are stronger than you look." At first, you think it's a compliment, and then it hits you.
Is it not a compliment? Somebody said that to me in the office when I put that pink undervest on. Next up, it's time for your weekly GCN inspiration, which is your chance to win one of 3 prizes. Now, this is the point last week on the show site where we announced the new GCN app that I'd been working on, wasn't it?
Well, that's right, and the take-up's been absolutely amazing. So thank you to the literally thousands of you that have downloaded the app and have been getting fully stuck in. Please keep your comments and feedback coming. We are listening and taking it all on board.
We are. I uploaded a photo myself, actually, Si, one that you took of me,
Yeah.
riding rather fast on a Lauf gravel bike.
Yeah, I was quite pleased with how fast I made you look.
Yeah, I think it was by accident, wasn't it?
It was,
I wasn't
yeah.
even going that fast. I think you just got the camera stuff a bit.
Low light conditions, the old iPhone was struggling.
I did notice there were a few comments from people that weren't very pleased about me using the old MongoDB.
I know, what's with that? We love a bit of MongoDB.
I do, yeah.
don't we?
Firebase is all right, apparently, though.
that's
But
good.
thankfully, the serverless architecture did stand up to the thousands of downloads that Si mentioned. Anyway, you can, of course, use the app to upload your hacks and bodges and your inspirational photos, which is what we are going to go through now. So, first up, the prizes. For 3rd place, you will get a cap.
Yes.
For 2nd place, you will get yourself a pair of the latest GCN Club socks plus a 3-month free subscription. And for 1st place, you're going to get yourselves this week this GCN fan kit.
Yes. I think it's really cool, you know, that we sell undervests as well as jerseys, because pretty important bit of kit. Undervests, aren't they?
Right, in 3rd place this week then, Si, is...
We have got this one sent in from Jez from Blaenau Festiniog, which is in North Wales. He said, a hidden gem of a climb up to Stwillan Dam. He says, a day to find a better climb in Wales.
That does look quite the climbing.
It does look good, doesn't it? I wonder whether there's a little bit of lens tilt going on there. Can we just try and correct that slightly? Yeah, there we go, yeah.
Yeah, not 35% after all. But well done to you. You'll be getting a GCN casquette, which you can wear peak up or peak down.
You know, he's blatantly gonna send a message now and say, you guys, total Muppets, it's actually 45%, and that's completely accurate.
Well,
sorry, Jez.
Even if we were right, he'd probably still write in and say we're complete Muppets. So. In second place, it is this photo from Kevin over in Hogpen Gap in the USA. I got out for an early ride in the mountains so I could get home in time for family commitments, and I was rewarded with this gorgeous sunrise.
Wow, that does look amazing, doesn't it? Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant.
There we go.
So you are getting yourself a 3-month subscription to the GCN Club and the latest socks too.
I tell you what, a pair of fresh socks riding up that hill, watching the sunrise.
Nothing like a pair of fresh socks.
No, or a nice sunrise. Or a sunset. This is the winner of GCN Inspiration this week. Christopher sent this one from near Mineola, Iowa in the USA. Weekly casual gravel ride with friends, or friender. But look at that!
Wow.
That is a sunset and a half, isn't it?
Yes, that is a spectacular photo. You chose that one, the winner this week, didn't you?
I did indeed. I mean, like we said earlier, we literally haven't seen the sun for what, at least 3 or 4 weeks here in the UK. So that is just like
hence paradise. 2 sun photos in second and first. Yes. If you would like to win next week, send us a sun photo, please. You can do that, as we've said, on the app, or you can still use the uploader, a link to which is in the description below.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now. And we're going to start with running. But then how could we not after the epic marathon exploits at the weekend?
Well, exactly. Bridget Kosgei broke the women's marathon record, didn't she, with a time of 2 hours, 14 minutes and 4 seconds. And then, of course, Eliud Kipchoge broke that amazing barrier of 2 hours, albeit in an exhibition event. But it did get us thinking, are there any equivalent milestones in cycling that are ripe for breaking now?
Wow, it's a difficult comparison to make, isn't it? Because most cycling events tend to be results focused rather than about absolute time. But maybe sub 4 minutes in the individual pursuit is...
That is starting to look possible.
Yeah.
And certainly Ashton Lambie, the current world record holder, is knocking on the door now, isn't he? He set a time at altitude of 4 minutes, 5 seconds, 0.23. And certainly aero guru Dan Bigham thinks that it's now possible.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to go back that far, actually, before the 4 minute barrier looked pretty impossible for the team pursuit as well.
That's true.
So you kind of need to put aero advancements down as the big reason why it's improving, don't you? Maybe to the extent where 60 kilometers in an hour is possible.
60 kilometre hour record. Well, that seems a bit further off.
Well, 5Ks an hour, we've all got to get.
Yeah, but it's exponential, isn't it? The power you have to produce to go fast, as you very well know. But yeah, that'd be quite something, wouldn't it? A 60 kilometre hour record. What about 78 days to ride around the entire globe, though? I mean, that was a pretty superhuman effort, should I say, from old Mark Beaumont there.
Although, was it so superhuman that actually no one had even considered it a possibility before?
I don't think anyone's considering it a possibility now, if I'm perfectly honest.
No, that one's on the shelf, isn't it?
Given his recent exploits too, trying to tow a caravan, I wonder whether that holy grail of 25 miles per hour with the caravan is the equivalent of the sub 2 hour marathon.
Well, maybe that is more accurate actually. A lot of people in the comments under that video offering assistance to Mark, actually, some advice on how he might be able to improve on version 3. But perhaps more people still saying that was the stupidest thing ever and he should never do it again because it was so dangerous.
I'm not sure my old Vauxhall Astra would have got a caravan up to 25 miles per hour, you know. Didn't have that much power, the old 1.3 engine. Anyway, we're going to stick with riders going a bit outside of their comfort zone and say fair play to newly crowned road world champion Annemiek van Vleuten, who hit the dirt just this weekend gone. She probably didn't want to confront the issue as to whether or not to wear white shorts with her rainbow band, did she? So she took to a discipline. Stage fright. Yeah, she took to a discipline where she's not the world champion, had to wear her trade team kit and raced the Super Prestige in Gieten on Sunday.
She did. How did she get on though, Dan?
Not all that well, I have to say, but she did ride with a huge smile on her face throughout until she got lapped and withdrawn from the race. But after she was withdrawn, she stayed by the course side and cheered on the riders that were still racing.
That is cool, isn't it?
That's very cool for a world champion.
Absolutely, yeah. Interesting to note though, that while cyclocross racers can and do dominate on the road, it's not a given the other way around, is it? And so perhaps that's why, as you found out at the weekend, so many kids are racing cyclocross at the moment, because they know how to become a successful pro cyclist.
That's right. I took Jude to race at the Perentini Wessex Cyclocross League in Droxford, and there were loads of kids racing the under 10s and the under 8s and the under 12s, and he absolutely loved it.
That's cool.
It was great to see so many kids enjoying their racing.
Is Droxford a real place?
I think so. Might have got that wrong. Anyway, moving quickly on. Actually, as we drove back, I suddenly said to Lorraine, this is where I won the Wessex Divisionals by 4 minutes. Seriously, I thought I'd never been there before, but I did recognise it. It was also near the headquarters of the Perth's Pedal Race.
Drop that one in there by 4 minutes.
Yeah,
Solo?
almost, I think. Yeah, solo.
Wow.
Only 19.
No wonder Cervelo test team snapped you up.
I was a bit like the Remco Evenepoel of the Wessex League. Anyway, shall we move on? Because today, the Tour de France organiser ASO announced the route for the 2020 edition. Although we're filming this yesterday, so it's a little bit late to be included in the GCN show. So we're going to sort of speculate as to what might be in it.
Well, we know already, actually, that the Grand Depart will be in Nice, and the first couple of stages are pretty challenging, particularly in the context of it being the opening week. So ASO definitely hoping for a little bit of action early doors.
And then what is coming after that?
Gravel.
Yeah. And then I reckon at the end of the race, a Team Ineos rider will win.
Yay! But is it going to be another one for Egan Bernal?
Well, he could win pretty much any Grand Tour, really, these days, couldn't we? In fact, we saw this link to an article in the German Journal of Sports Medicine last week, which was posted to Twitter by our mate Cycling Science.
Yeah, funny that his favourite journal is the same as ours, but there we go. Anyway, the article was an analysis, basically, of what makes Colombian cyclists so good. The conclusion was that it was kind of a mix of environmental and also genetic factors, but that even among his peers, Bernal is something of an outlier. They tested his VO2 max, and it came out as 88.8 millilitres per kilogram per minute.
Which is more than Chris Froome, isn't it?
It
Marginally, 0.6 above at 88.2, which is what Chris Froome measured. But something else to add to the Team Ineos top trump set.
Well, that's it. We don't know what Geraint Thomas is, but maybe that's team leadership duties decided for the Tour de France now on the basis of that one. It's got to be said, though, that VO2 max is not an indicator of pure cycling performance, isn't it?
Mine's quite low.
It's quite a good indicator of pure cycling performance. But no, there have been a number of examples of riders with ridiculously high VO2 maxes, but not that much in the way of race results to speak of. Oscar Svensson.
I think it's the highest ever recorded, isn't it?
97.5. Wow. And then Lance Armstrong, 84.
Although we're not sure if he's been stripped of his VO2 max level as well as the other titles, do we?
No, that's right. No, WADA have removed his VO2 max details as well. Right, now some actual good news from across the pond now. And it turns out that the Great American Rail Trail is now 50% complete, stretching from Washington State all the way through to Washington, DC, completely separate from cars, over 3,700 miles and featuring 2 corners.
Oh, talking in miles now, are you, Si?
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's not all good news. There's a bit of bad to go with this. They've uncovered there are still 90 gaps in the cycle trails that are already out there.
Wow, okay.
And they've also said it could take up to 2 decades for it to be completed.
2 decades? I'll be middle-aged by then.
I will be too.
Maybe we should do it in retirement.
Yeah?
Be quite a cool retirement celebration, wouldn't it?
Also last week, we have been again attempting to break world records, and once again on a penny farthing. This time it was the prestigious outdoor 1-hour pace record, which has stood for 133 years, making it one of the oldest world records around. It was set back in 1886 by W.A. Rowe, but last Friday, James, Chris and Mark Beaumont attempted to beat it, so I'm going to hand over to them and also to Neil Loughton to go through the results.
So you'll recall W.A. Rowe, 133 years ago, an American, set this record, 1 hour outdoor around a track, 22 miles and 150 yards. The distance you achieved just now, 22 miles, 369 yards. You've done it by 219 yards.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Neil.
Well done.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
We needed your strong finish. That was awesome.
Well done, Mark.
Good work.
Two of cycling's absolute greats have been admitted to hospital recently. The first of them being Raymond Poulidor, known as the Eternal Second, and most recently actually as grandfather to Mathieu van der Poel, has been admitted with heart problems. Initially, we hear that his family were really concerned, but he is now feeling better, good enough, in fact, to watch the Italian one-day races from his hospital bed.
Very good
so
to hear
fingers
that.
crossed there.
And then, today as we record this, yesterday as you're watching it, the Belgian newspaper Het Nieuwsblad reported that Eddy Merckx, widely regarded as the greatest cyclist of all time, had been admitted to hospital after suffering an accident whilst out cycling with his friends. Really serious head injury, and he's been put into intensive care.
Right, we here at GCN would like to send our best wishes to both of them and wish them a speedy recovery.
It is now time for hack/bodge of the week. And don't forget, you can now upload your hacks and bodges to the app as well as to the uploader.
Well, a lot of them have come from there, haven't they? This
They
week?
have, yes. But we're going to start with this one that came in from Stuart. Forgot cycling shoes, so just donned a helmet for a quick ride. Got about 6 miles in, saddle came loose and fell off. Thinking, oh goodness, remembered my good old Rafa belt. Secured the saddle and rode back on the TT bars.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a bodge, but you got to say that's, you know, a roadside hack.
It's a bit like the Rafa box for the iPad last week. Does it make it any better that it's a Rafa belt?
No. Right, next up, we've got this one sent in by Noel. Now, after last week's bell hack, we've had an avalanche of bells being hidden on bikes, haven't we? And this one is very neat. So this is a modification to a Canyon out front mount. He's added a GoPro attachment and then bolted his bell onto that. But what he hasn't gone into details is how his smartphone is stuck so neatly to the top.
No.
How have you done that, Noel?
Slightly less of a reach around versus last week's bell hack.
Well, possibly, yeah. Anyway, that's a hack, as far as I'm concerned.
This next one came in from Drew, who heard a ping from his front wheel, and it was, of course, a broken spoke. So in order to fix it, he used a Band-Aid or sticky plaster. Obviously, there were no unused dog poo bags to hand. So.
No. Can we stress that he's not fixed the wheel with an elastoplast? That's just the rogue loose spoke. If that happens to you and you don't have an elastoplast, you can, of course, just bend your spoke around another one.
Yeah.
Neither are particularly safe. I'd rather go for a poo bag.
I've just remembered that I've been riding around my 5-year-old mountain bike hardtail with a broken spoke for probably almost a year.
Really?
I've never fixed it. It's quite untrue, actually, as well. Didn't even have to use a sticky plaster. I did just do what you did and bent the spoke around another one.
Mate, that's a disgrace. That's an absolute disgrace. Right. Chris Flem sent this one in. He suggested this is what Mark Caravan?
That's his new name.
Mark Caravan Beaumont should have done.
And his wife, Caravanette.
That's right. Now, I think they'd struggle to get that up to 25 miles an hour as well, wouldn't they? But
Yeah,
it does
got
look
high
marginally
CDA.
safer. Although, I've got to say, I think for the record to stand, you've got to be able to sleep in the caravan. And I don't think you could sleep lying down in that.
No, not even on that top bit. It's a little bit small, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Maybe it'd be good for like a portaloo.
Right, we're saying bodge then, because you can't sleep in the caravan.
Well, yeah, what's it for?
Otherwise, it definitely would have been a hack. Right, next up, we had this one, which was sent in by Peter Robert Murray. Fitted a 28mm tyre to my Canyon Air Road for comfort, and the tyre ran very close to the frames. I made a small plate from aerospace grade aluminium, or aluminum, to remove anything that sticks to the tyre before it gets dragged around the frame. It's stuck to the frame with industrial Velcro.
Whoa, so it can be removed easily.
But what did he stick the Velcro to the frame with? It wasn't industrial glue, was it?
Oh, to be fair though, I've got to say, mate, I'd leave that on. That looks super cool. I even love the fact that he stuck a Canyon sticker on there. And he points out, Dan, can I draw your attention to the paint chips on said, whatever it's called. What would you call that? A tyre scraper, I suppose.
I don't know.
Anyway, therefore it's doing its job.
You know how long it takes me to come up with a caption. It would take me a good couple of hours to think of a name for that thing.
Yeah, tyre scraper. And that's not very
catchy,
sexy, is it? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe all you need is like an ass saver type name and suddenly you've got yourself a product there. Anyway,
we'll have a think about it and get back to you for the caption competition with a name for that. Yeah, I would say that is a hack.
Yeah, there you go, well done. Right, next up, I love this one. This was sent in by Sandro Zanin. Now, it's a hack, and I'm gonna call it a hack straight off the bat, that we first saw on one of Sven Nace's bikes back in the day. Basically, it's got a 1x setup on a Dura-Ace crank. Doesn't look the nicest, does it, when you've got those beautiful sculpted cranks and a bog standard chainring? So he's made his old chainring into a bash guard. and ground down all the teeth. And does that not look super flipping cool, Dan?
Yeah, well, I'm going to actually agree with you there, Si. It does look very cool indeed.
That's amazing. Proper.
Right, we shall finish with this one that was sent to us all on the app, in fact, from Ulfin. Took a Shimano Di2 car build and spliced it. He's basically hacked his Di2 here, hasn't he?
That's an instant hack as far as we're concerned, because it involves electrics, and that's another thing that we don't understand.
Yeah, well, no, so I'll gloss over how he did it and just say that the result was that he has now both a thumb button and a climber button on each side, changing gears up on the right side and down on the left side, which works great, he says.
Hacking Di2, I mean, that is impressive, isn't it?
Well, it's very much beyond us, isn't it?
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm not really a satellite shifter kind of dude. I just, I'm quite thankful that I've got them on my brake levers.
I just haven't had much time to get into that sort of thing after working so much on my Firebase, MongoDB and serverless architecture.
No, I wonder whether the next step actually for the app is remote shifting for Di2, but those are unconfirmed rumours.
Right, don't forget to keep sending us your hacks and bodges. As we've mentioned, you can upload them to the app or again, use the uploader in the description below.
Caption competition now, that part of the show where you get to win, ordinarily, it'd be a GCN bottle, but for 1 week only.
Bidon.
For 1 week only, it's a GCN cap. All you got to do is
You can't even put it on.
No, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Put
Anyway.
a caption in the comments section down below. There we go.
Yeah.
And this is last week's photo to get your appetite
This
whetted.
was Cyril Gauthier in the Crow race, and our winner this week is Gordon Moat, who put caption, Cyril Gauthier logging a few kilometres.
That's good. I like that one.
Wouldn't have won if you'd said miles. But
No.
I said kilometres,
That's it,
we'll
good
let
point.
you have it. Right, let us know your address by sending us a message over on Facebook, Gordon, and we'll get that cap sent off to you.
Maybe not this exact one.
No, this week's photo though is of Lotto Soudal team manager Jean Lelong at Il Lombardia on Saturday. We shall start you off, at least I will. Wow, this GCN app is really cool, isn't it? Although that's definitely not super nice, Lloydie. Look at the valve placement on that bike.
It's not bad. I like the contextualization with the app. Clearly something that's at the forefront of our minds at the moment. But which is not that funny, is it really?
Well, I mean, at school I often got teacher remarks saying could do better. I'll go with that for the
Yeah, there we
caption
go,
too.
yeah. Right, well, see if you can do better. I'm sure you can. Stick your caption in the comment section down below.
This next part of the show is your opportunity to win 3 months free subscription to Zwift. All you need to do to be in with a shout of winning that is ask us a training or coaching related question in the comment section below, but make sure you use the hashtag AskGCNTraining.
That's right. Now, the question for this week is another belter, Dan, sent in by David Cumberledge. He said he's been riding really consistently for about 3 years now. He's trying to improve his power and plans on riding through the winter, but a lot of people talk about having an off-season break, so putting the bike away for a little bit. Does he really need an off-season break, or can he just keep on riding without any negative effects?
It's a very good question, isn't it? It's sort of one of those it depends kind of
Yeah.
answers. I mean, if you look at pro riders as an example, almost all of them will take a break of some sort at the end of the season, although it's getting shorter each year, isn't it? Sometimes only 2 or 3 weeks now, whereas back in the day, before our time even, some pro riders wouldn't even touch their bikes again until January the 1st. Now though, like I said, there are riders that only take a couple of weeks off before they resume.
That's right. 2 things, I guess. First and foremost, pros are probably the exception here, aren't they? I mean, they spend so much time riding their bikes that they probably need a break. Firstly, to actually recuperate from a tough season, but then also to mentally kind of recalibrate. You need a break from your job, don't forget. And also, it's probably nice to put a line in the sand between one season and another so you can mentally refocus.
Exactly. So whether or not you need to take a break from cycling and an off season very much depends on how intense your cycling's been, really. I mean, if you're at Lars Bak Level, probably wise to take a couple of weeks off. If you're at my level, there's probably no need, really, is there? In fact, from a purely physical point of view, for most people, there really isn't a need to take any time off the bike. It's just whether or not you need it mentally.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely bob on, isn't it? Interestingly, Dan, or probably not, my best season came after a 4-week break, whereas normally I just used to have 2.
Oh.
Yeah, true story that. But what a lot of pros do now, as well as what I would encourage most people to do, is actually spend a bit of time each year not thinking about training per se. So throw your FTP out the window, maybe take some time off using a hedge unit, stick Strava in the bin for a month or so. Whatever it needs to be, just go out, ride your bike, ride as fast as you want, or as slowly and as short as you want. Maybe ride off-road for a little bit. Just mix it up. Generally have a break.
Yeah, spice things up to make sure you're enjoying your cycling again. As ever, before we let you know what's coming up on GCN over the next week, we're going to go through a few of our favourite comments. We've got a lot for you actually this
We
week.
have, yeah.
A bumper week of brilliant comments.
Well, mainly because of Mark Beaumont's...
Yeah, because we've got a
caravan
different
video.
presenter and we had some really good comments. Anyway, we are going to start off with this comment that came in under last week's show from Scartoons. As a triathlete, I enjoy watching the show, if only to scoff at your puny upper body strength. Well, with me, upper body and strength doesn't normally go in the same sentence.
No, it doesn't. We've all witnessed that.
Or body and strength.
That's right. And then this one under the Villiers? What did we decide?
I say Villiers. But
Villiers
I might be
video,
wrong, probably.
the great video that John did at the weekend. Grandmaster Chang said, the Far East?
Villiers frames are all made in the Far East.
Did it also come on a schooner loaded with spices? which made me chuckle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why John said that instead of Asia, but there we go.
And then this, the first of 382 positive comments from Mark Beaumont under his caravan video. First one being Ryan Ashburner. Two of the most hated things on the road, and you've managed to combine them. I love it.
Yes, I did have a chuckle about that. Then a couple of aero comments. Frankie said, I think an aero tuck and a skin suit would have made the difference.
And then Eurobubble70 said, the caravan needs to be tested in the wind tunnel.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, actually. We did consult aerodynamics guru Xavier Disley, who did some maths on the back of a serviette for us, and he calculated that it would take about 900 watts consistently to be able to actually move that caravan at 25 miles an hour. And then he also said it was probably physically impossible to stop it again. So just as well, Mark did not have the requisite power for that.
Even with disc brakes. Even with disc brakes. Right, Avery Abbott, I've never pulled anything on my bike, except maybe a hamstring. This makes me perfect for this challenge. No limits, no fear. I'd love the opportunity to flop around for people's amusement if GCN would like to help set the stage.
Well, we've never pulled anything on bikes either, have we, mate?
No, or anywhere else.
No, that's it. Good point. Finally, under last week's GCN show, Bike Tribe said, wow, GCN is really improving quickly. It takes 6 years to incorporate an actual drum roll soundtrack into the production so that they don't have to pound their fingers on the desk. And then just 5 minutes later, they announced a GCN app. So there we go. Yeah, I didn't know that there was a drum roll.
No.
Isn't that cool?
Amazing where we've come in 6.5 years, isn't it? Right, would you like to know what's coming up on the channel this week?
Yes, please.
On Wednesday, we have some Jedi tricks for getting your bike into your car, even to a Vauxhall Astra or a Ford Focus estate.
Oh, yes.
On Thursday, we've got 5 exercises for weak cyclists, which I'm very much looking forward to watching.
I rock out a tank in that one as well, Dan.
Yeah, I did see some people chuckling in the office as they were editing earlier, Si. Friday is another cyclocross how-to video from Jeremy.
Yeah, then on Saturday, I'm really looking forward to this. Chris went to visit Rota in Madrid to get the lowdown on their Q rings, as well as check out their production facility. And then on Sunday, we teased last week, didn't we, Dan? But it is coming. Why gravel bikes exist. And yes, it's because mountain bikes are boring. That's, yeah.
On Monday, over on GCN Racing, we'll have the Racing News Show where we'll be discussing the female rider of 2019. And on Tuesday, of course, we are back in the set for the GCN Show. It might not be us.
We are getting on for the end of the GCN show, but as ever, we will leave you with Extreme Corner. And this week, Mark Beaumont returns to the scene of his near miss of the world penny farthing hour record last year at Herne Hill Velodrome in London to witness his mentor, Neil Lawton. Well, I'll leave him to explain.
Thanks, guys. Well, we've been back filming more antics on the amazing penny farthings at one of the oldest velodromes in the UK at Herne Hill. And to show us how it's really done, we've got the Grand Master of penny farthing riding, the founder of the Penny Farthing Club, Mr. Neil Lawton. He's going to attempt to do a flying lap, no hands. Here he comes. I'm nervous for him. Heroic stuff. How's that for bike handling? What's our time?
102.7.
102.7 for a flying lap, penny farthing, no hands at Herne Hill. Phenomenal.
Impressive stuff.
That is remarkably
stuff.
impressive, isn't it? Comes under the league of, I'm not sure why you'd do that, but still, that is impressive.
Well, I heard about somebody going for a record on a penny farthing at altitude, and I thought, why are you going to do that? You're already kind of at altitude when you get on one, aren't you? Right, that's all for this week's GCN Show. If you have enjoyed it, please do us a favour and click on the thumbs up icon, which you will find below this video. And if you are yet to watch Mark Beaumont attempting to tow a caravan with his bike, you can find that video here.
We suggest you check it out if you haven't already. It's great.
Yeah, and leave him a nice comment.